Hey friends, today on Gardening with Creekside, we're going to do a weekly nursery tour where we show you all of the fantastic plants and products that we have available for you sweet folks who are coming to visit us very soon. So this is going to be our last weekend where we are Saturday only. So this is, today is March 1st, so that makes Saturday, March the 3rd, 4th? Something like that. So that is going to be our, whatever that Saturday is, right? This upcoming Saturday is our last Saturday only. So starting next week on Wednesday, we will be open Wednesday through Saturday, and we will keep those hours all the way through until we close in the late fall, early winter. So those of you who are planning on trips to come see Creekside Nursery, you can go ahead and count on it right now. We will be open Wednesday through Saturday from 9 to 3 at a minimum. We may extend those hours depending on the days and the weather, but just know that we'll be open on Wednesdays through Saturdays beginning next Wednesday. So super excited to see that. We would love to have you come see us. Remember, weekly nursery tours are where we show you like real live what is available, what things look like at the nursery right now. So if you're coming in, you know, the coming days or the next week, you will have a real sense of what you're going to see here at the nursery. These are not really like in-depth plant highlights, so we're going to tell you the names. We're going to try to show you the tags. If you want some more information, use that Professor Google and get some information. So some of the fun things that are happening. One, the weather here in North Carolina is like crazy. It feels like spring. Watching the weather last night, we hit a record yesterday. We broke a record of 79 degrees. That is not normal, obviously, because it was record breaking. It is going to come back down a little bit, but man, plants are waking up and really starting to get some spring fever. I wanted to share with you one of our new favorite hydrangeas. This is Quick Fire Fab. It is a panicle hydrangea from Proven Winners. And this is the earliest blooming panicle hydrangea out there on the market. I love Quickfire. It is just a wonderful, reliable, it always blooms every year just like those panicles do. But Quickfire Fab is going to be a little bit shorter than Quickfire and has just beautiful creamy white flowers that will then turn to pink. Even for us in the south, because of our heat and humidity, it will still get a nice pink hue. Now it's not going to get the really intense pink that, say, if you're in a cooler climate it does, but these are hardy in zones 3 to 8. And at the size of being 6 to 8 feet tall and 5 to 6 feet wide, they're very, they give you a presence, right? So you still have some height and some substance in your garden, but it's not gonna be huge and massive like a traditional Quickfire. Quickfire Fab, love this. Beautiful, nice, strong, sturdy stems. I mean, these suckers are sturdy. You are not gonna have any floppy blooms with Quickfire Fab. Behind Jerry, we're going to pivot here for a minute because these are new into the nursery here within the last week or so. We ordered some flowering cherry trees. These are all the Yoshino cherry trees. These are the same type that I have in the berm, and you can see that they are about to pop with flowers. Yoshinos, of course, are going to have that really pretty pink flower on them. This is a flowering ornamental cherry. This is not going to produce berries to eat, but we really do like the Yoshinos. So we have the Yoshinos, and then we have in our backyard is Okami, and that's like the earliest blooming, and then Yoshino comes in later. So if you can stagger your cherry tree plantings, then you're going to have blooms for a longer period of time. These are 15 gallons. I am 5'3", and so you can see that this is a nice substantial tree. So this is going to be, if you get it in your ground, go ahead and get it in the ground now. It will make a nice presence, and then you'll get to enjoy all the flowers. I don't know if you can see, but we've got Alyssa and Randy are coming with some perennials. This will be really fun, so that we're going to show you. They dropped some plants, but they just came in and they're moving plants down here for us. And so once they start getting some stuff unloaded, I'm excited to show you those perennials that are going to be available for this weekend. These are ones that we are growing. It is soon to be azalea time. So azaleas are about to just pop in lots of color. The Perfecto Mundo series from Proven Winners. This is that repeat bloomer. It's going to bloom 3 times for you, spring, summer, and fall. And you can see, so this is the Perfecto Mundo Red. Obviously beautiful, nice, dark foliage on this, and it has some buds that are starting to open up. So those are super nice in there. So you can see those beautiful blooms just beginning to open up, and then there are buds all over it. The Perfecto Mundo series of azaleas were developed at NC State University, so they do really well here, obviously. Hardy in zones 6B to 9. They're going to need full sun to part shade, and they're going to be about 2.5 feet tall, but 3 to 4 feet wide. So this would be great like in the front of your house, especially if you have like low windows in the front of your house, because they're not going to get very tall, but they get wide. And then this beautiful foliage, and then of course it blooms 3 times a year. Wonderful. So the Perfecto Mundo series, not only do you have red, like over here, we've got like the double white. So they've got multiple colors. There's a pink, there is a purple, lots of different color options for you. I mean, if you're in the South, you gotta have azaleas, right? That's one of those iconic plants for sure. Another classic garden plant, not just to the South, really very, very versatile, are clematis. Some people say clematis, some people say clematis. It's one of those things. We don't need pronunciation police out there in the plant world, people. If you say clematis, great. If you say clematis, great. We know what you're talking about. So we've got several different kinds in here. We've got like Dr. Rupel, which is a beautiful, look at that. Light pink on the outside, darker pink on the inside of those margins. Little fun white center to them. These are flushing out, right. So we've actually got some buds over here that I see on these. Clematis are just great, right? You've got this beautiful perennial vine that grows in the sun. It is going to be hardy in multiple zones, like from zone 4, like it's cold hardy to zone 4, and then up, we're 7B. This doesn't tell me the heat tolerance on it. But basically 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, right? And you can train it to go whatever you want. This is Westerplate. And this has got buds all over it. I mean, like big, huge, fat blooms right here. Really fun. Obviously, for the nursery, we have these with the bamboo kind of teepees. As soon as you get it home, you do not have to keep this in this teepee form. You can gently undo your clematis and just kind of pull it out and then put it on whatever you want. People have them on mailboxes. I'm getting ready to plant some here very soon, and I'm going to plant them in multiple areas. So clematis are great, multiple different kinds in there for sure. We still have a few of the Chef's Choice rosemary from Southern Living. These are beautiful, beautiful plants. Yes, you can eat them, or if you don't want to use it as a culinary herb. I personally love rosemary. I don't like to eat rosemary, but these are beautiful plants. This is going to be a gorgeous, like evergreen small hedge, or you could just use it as a specimen plant. It would be great, like in a pot even, right? And then you could put perennials, or annuals, either one, perennials or annuals underneath it. So really nice and low maintenance, beautiful plant for sure. Now, look at these Weigelia. They are popping out in color for sure. This is, I believe, the Vino Verde. Let me look at my white tag here. It is Vino Verde. This is the brand new Weigelia that came out onto the market this year from Proven Winners. I love this plant. I trialed it last year. It is mostly for foliage. It may bloom, but it's not really for blooms like some Weigelia. This is going to be for foliage. It is going to be green and black margins, so you're going to have a bicolor leaf on it. It is gorgeous. I love it. Now, all Weigelia are deciduous, and that's okay. You use them for different applications, right? So my folks who maybe are in cooler climates and you can't do azaleas, then Weigelias I would think would be comparable to the next best thing, because like if you get, let's see, who is this? This is the Wine and Spirits. You're going to get beautiful flowers off of it, very reminiscent of an azalea. So if you can't do an azalea, look at Weigelias. Even here in the South, we can do these. Sometimes you may have to find that right area for to grow. Sometimes it just depends. If you have it in full sun, maybe you need to have it on irrigation. If you don't have it on irrigation, probably you're going to do like morning sun and then a break, put it in the shade in the late afternoon to give it a little bit of a break and a respite. If you are looking for some really fun evergreen shrubs, big pops of color, look at this. Look how fun this is. This is the King's Gold False Cypress. This is an evergreen shrub that clearly has loads of color to it. It is going to be for sun to part shade. It is going to be a relatively slow grower, about 3 to 5 feet tall and wide, but it's a really compact mounding dwarf thread leaf variety with that beautiful golden yellow foliage. So this is a great option for those of you that want to have evergreens in your yard, bring a different texture, a different kind of shape to it. Really, really fun plant for sure. Of course, we've got the gardenias. Oh, I forgot. Jerry told me to tell you this and I was getting ready to walk right past them. Look at these loropetalums. Are these suckers not just gorgeous? This is the, make sure I get this right, this is the cerise charm. And loropetalums are traditionally a southern shrub. They do like the warmer climates. Look how fat that leaf is. All right, so that's my thumb. I'm trying to show you my thumb compared to it. Really big, huge leaves, almost like totally black. They're so purple, they are almost black. Loropetalums probably shouldn't be blooming right now, but mine and my landscape are because of this weather that we're having. So they're also called Chinese fringe flowers because the blooms on them in early spring look like they've been shredded. They're very fringy. Beautiful, beautiful plant. This is going to be in full sun to part shade, only 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So a very manageable size. This is not going to outgrow most spaces for folks. Makes a great foundation planting. So if you want to put it in the front of your house, it would work really well. Maybe put this closest to your house and the Perfecto Mundos in front of it. Or depending on where you are, if you wanted to put the King's Gold in the back, right? And then this in front. So you want to put obviously your taller plants in the back and then put your shorter plants in the front. But talk about a beautiful contrast. That way they really pop off of one another. Or we could even do this. If Jerry will back up just a smidge, we could put these in the back and then we could put your rosemary in the front, because this rosemary is only going to get to be about 18 to 24 inches tall and wide. Right now the rosemary is a little bit bigger than the loropetalums. Loropetalums tend to be a pretty quick grower, so this would be beautiful in the back. Put your rosemary in the front. Boom. I just gave you 3 different options for the front of your house. Super easy, people, and all of these plants are extremely low maintenance. These are not fussy plants whatsoever. If you prune them, it may be like once a year and that's it, if you even have to prune them then. So lots of great options that we have for you here, and we do enjoy helping folks when you come. If you want us to help you with your landscaping, or you've got an area that you just don't know what to do with, it is best that you bring lots of pictures and you bring measurements of your space. So you say, this is my bed, it's 10 feet long and 4 feet wide, and I get all day morning sun, and then it's in the shade from 3 o'clock on, right? So know your sun, give me lots of pictures, and give me some basic measurements. That way we can help you and make sure we get the right plants and the right number of plants for your space. Now, let's see. Let's mosey on up here to the greenhouse, because if you've watched a couple of our videos here just in the last couple of days, you probably know that we went on vacation, our family went on vacation, so we were gone all last week, and that's when the heat really kind of hit. Came home and flowers and plants were like exploding everywhere. So there's been a lot of fun new developments in this greenhouse. before we get there, we're in a little bit of a construction zone because we are painting and staining and making more tables to hold plants. So if you see all of the tables, Randy and Alyssa were doing that earlier. They were staining the tables. We'll get the covers on them and that we can get plants on them. Over here we had some new tables, benches put out. But what's fun, fig plants, fig trees, fig shrubs, whatever you want to call them. This is brown turkey fig, and it's going to be a big one, right? Eventually like 15 to 25 feet tall and wide, but this would be like edible fruit. So people are always asking, do you have like fruit trees or fruit shrubs? Typically we don't carry a lot of them, but figs are just fantastic. They do really well here in the South. They love the sun, zones 7 and above, and you can see they are just flushing out. These have not been in the greenhouse. They are completely acclimated to the outside temperatures and what is happening right now. But if you're looking for a fig tree, a fig shrub, then these are great because they will give you beautiful fruit. Love them. All right, come on, let's go in the greenhouse. The fans are on because it is warm in here. So I think you can, as you come in, if you've been watching our nursery tours, you can probably see that there has been a lot of growth, a lot of development, a lot of flowers, lots of fun going on. You can just see like the petite pink, this is the guara, is a beautiful plant. It's perennial for us. But look at this, the violet night is really starting to fill out. This is a sweet alyssum, beautiful purple, gorgeous, delicious fragrance to it, super nice. This is going to be relatively new on the market from Proven Winners. Fantastic annual that really does spread. It's going to be low and wide, so if you can imagine all these different pots as one. The Nemesia, now this is brand new this year. This is the Aromanth mulberry. This sucker will just bloom and bloom and bloom. It is a great plant. It will be a little bit taller because it's going to be about 10 to 18 inches tall. Again, has a really nice aroma to it. I like it a lot, and that bicolor of the, really I guess a tricolor of the bloom is really nice. But just so much, we have gone through here, we've talked about like the Bidens. This is Goldilocks rocks. Look how nice and big that is. It's almost like a daisy-like bloom on it. Pollinators love this plant. It is not going to be long before this greenhouse is going to be covered in pollinators because the sides roll up, up and down throughout the day. Last year, the campfire Bidens were covered in pollinators. Their blooms are a little bit smaller, obviously a beautiful kind of an orange and copper color, but the pollinators love this plant. They go nuts over it. Everything is filling out. The silver bullet artemisia, great accent plant. The pink chablis, love this one. This is a lamian. It will be a perennial for us. Of course, lemon coral, and then oh my gosh, look at this, y'all. The azuratums. This is Artist Pearl. Yep, there went a little pollinator. That is Artist Pearl, a beautiful pure white flower on it. They will get to be about 8 to 12 inches tall. So we have the pearl, and then come look over here at the blue. Look at that. Is that not just so sweet? Artist Blue. Now Artist Blue is going to be about the same size. You can tell though that the white kind of shot up on us as opposed to the blue. Gorgeous. We still have, those of you that are interested in some citrus, these are not going to be cold hardy for us. So in the wintertime, you would need to bring them in as an indoor plant. But look at this. This is a lemon Meyer tree. Look at all the fruit on there, and then there are buds all over these plants. I mean, all over. So much fun. They love, they do enjoy being in the greenhouse with all of this extra heat and sunlight, doing really well. Amsonia is a beautiful perennial. It is an early spring bloomer. It's blooming earlier now because it is in the greenhouse. Typically it would bloom a little bit later on. Beautiful light sky blue, kind of star-like flowers on it. After it blooms, it's gorgeous foliage. And if you've ever noticed that your Amsonia gets too floppy, don't be afraid. After it blooms, you can kind of gather it up. I've done this for several years now, and give it a haircut, like a third. I wouldn't go any more than a half, and just give it a cut. It might look a little weird for like 2 weeks, but then it'll flush back out with new growth and be super tight, so it won't be floppy. I'm not saying that Storm Cloud does this. I have some of like the traditional native Amsonia, and it can get floppy, but just know that if you have Amsonia, and the same thing with your, what are those things called? Baptisia, thank you. Your Baptisia, those two can be trimmed back, and that after they finish blooming, you're not gonna get a second flush of blooms on them, but you're gonna have beautiful, nice, tight foliage. I do that with my lemon meringue all the time. Every year I do that with my lemon meringue. These are getting ready to pop out with lots of beautiful flowers, but we've got tons of different ones. We've got lemon meringue and vanilla cream, a nice soft white. Pink lemonade, which is very popular because it's a pink and a yellow. Dark chocolate, obviously, is going to be a nice, rich kind of a brown. Blue bubbly is very bright and blue. And basically your Baptisia, the growing requirements are going to be the exact same. They need full sun to part sun. Your height and your mature plant is going to be a little bit different. And then they are hardy in zones 4 to 9. A great perennial for early spring blooms. You will love it. Strawberry plants. So this is the time of year, just so you know, like from now until, well, a while, Jenny could do nursery tours that lasted hours long because there's so many fantastic plants to talk about. So this is the Buried Treasure Pink strawberry plant. And then we have, it says it's pink, it's not. Ha! This is Buried Treasure Red. So they're both perennial, ever-bearing strawberry plants. The only difference is the color of the bloom. So they both will produce beautiful, delicious red strawberries that you can eat. It's just the bloom color is different. Absolutely could use these mixed in with your traditional pots. So you can mix them in, like, you know, with petunias or calabricoas or Bidens, or how pretty would it be like with the violet night. So you can mix these in with other annuals, even though these are perennials and they do produce fruit. Use them in those containers and have lots of fun with them. So we have those available. Of course, jasmine, look at that. This is so fun. This is the Sunseeker Carolina jasmine, a beautiful flowering vine, clearly nice bright yellow flowers. And this one, I want to say there was what is it? Yeah, it's a hardier selection of the native plant. So this will be a bright evergreen foliage. Your clematis, of course, is deciduous. Your jasmine will be a beautiful evergreen. So that's really fun. Bleeding hearts, anyone? Look at this. This is the Valentine's because it has more of a kind of a reddish hue to it. Deeper pink, however you want to look at that. It's not really red, it's more of a deeper pink. But your bleeding hearts are wonderful early spring bloomers that just do great. So many things. Oh, come over here. You want some flowers? We've got flowers over here for you. The calabricoas, the super bells, are really starting to bloom. So much fun. Now, the good thing is that your super bells and your supertunias are going to be more cold tolerant. So if you are absolutely dying to put some annuals out and nobody can persuade you not to, then I'm going to tell you to go with your super bells or your supertunias. You're going to have beautiful flowers right now because they've been in the greenhouse, but they are more cold tolerant. So if you just have to do something, choose those cold tolerant varieties, and they come in an array of colors. I'm just going to walk through and kind of tell you. Super bells, remember, they need to be in that full to part sun. They love it well draining. So for us in our clay soil, it's best not to put them directly in the ground. You do that with petunias. hanging baskets, containers, pots, window boxes, that's what you want. So let's just go through the colors right quick. All right, you have Blue Moon Punch, Coral Sun. One of my favorites is the Over Easy. You see how it gets its name? Isn't that fun? Brand new to the market, Pink Lemonade. Great plant that changes colors. Love this plant. Then you've got something that's very close, it's similar, doesn't change color though. Honeyberry, so sweet. Black Currant Punch, very, very popular. I would say the Black Currant and the Blue Moon are some of the most popular ones. We're gonna skip over, can you tell this is a petunia? Skip over right quick, and then we've got the yellow, and this is the improved Super Bells yellow this year. Obviously, the Super Bells are going to be blooming first, and then we go back to the petunias. And I do see, this is Royal Velvet right here. Royal Velvet has one little bud. Look at her. This is an overachieving plant right there. So Royal Velvet, deep, deep purple, fantastic. That, we've got the Vista Silverberry. What Jerry was talking about was the Picasso in purple. This is one of our favorite plants and our customers' favorite plants, because it has that great lime green edging to it. New for us as far as like selling them individually will be the Black Cherry, Super Petunia Black Cherry. We've done it in a mixed container for several years and it does great, but our customers really wanted it as an individual one. Which reminds me, we got a delivery from Proven Winners today, our friends at Pleasant View Gardens up in New Hampshire. We're gonna be potting tomorrow. We'll show you that soon. But people have been asking if we have the Super Petunia Latte. Guess what arrived today? Super Petunia Latte. And then we got Lovey Dovey. There was a couple of different ones that we haven't had yet this season that came. So I can't remember who asked me if we were gonna be carrying Latte. It came today. There you go. Honey. Can you tell there's a lot of like food names with these plants? We've got honey, black cherry, latte, lots of lemon meringue, pink truffles, lots of food references. Oh, here's the jazzberry. Super Petunia Vista Jazzberry is basically new in the last 2 years. This is the second year, and that's the little tiny bloom. They do get bigger, but there's some buds over here. I don't see any bubblegums blooming yet, but bubblegums are like one of the absolute most popular, and rightly so. It is, like, as far as I'm concerned, classic petunia, great performer. We've got those. The mini vistas, nobody's blooming yet over there. And then the new ones, we do have the new mini vista yellow. So we've got yellow over here. Midnight is not quite blooming yet. So if you are excited about the Mini Vista Yellow, she is here, she is blooming. We also have the Mini Vista Midnight right next door, and then Mini Vista Scarlet we also have growing up at the nursery. The Osteos are starting to bloom. One of the most popular ones are the Double Moonlight. Nice, soft yellow. Osteos are great because they like the cool weather. And so this would be another plant that you could put out on the early side of the season and feel a little bit more comfortable and relaxed about putting those out. So we've got Moon Glow, we've got the Horizon Sunset, which is new this year. We've got pink, we've got purple, lots of options for you. So let's mosey on out to outside in the pergola. There's lots going on, y'all. So Randy and Alyssa, they've been busy little bees this morning. First, they were putting the tables, staining the tables, and they're finishing up right now, bringing down, well, on their first load of perennials. So they're bringing those down. So they're gonna be working on that. Then we've got Josh and the boys out in the pines working on a new area to grow perennials. All right, so a lot of you saw me 2 weeks ago go ahead and plant a star magnolia. So we have star magnolias here. You can already see that they're ending kind of their bloom cycle and they're flushing out their leaves. So I love this plant. I love this tree, shrub, whatever you want to call it. Beautiful, delicious fragrance. early bloomer, so it will do really well for you, and it's not too big, right? It's very manageable for different spaces. Now, hellebores, if you have watched me for any length of time, especially here in the last couple of weeks, you probably know how much I love hellebores Lenten roses. Oh my gosh. So here we go. The Honeymoon Tropical Sunset. Look at that. Now, historically, Lenten roses really come in like whites, creams, pinks. Those are kind of the traditional colors. But with all the new breeding, you're getting a lot of new colors. The Tropical Sunset obviously is a beautiful, even on the back of the bloom, you see that kind of yellow and that pinky mauve color. Great. These are deer resistant shade perennials. Now, you may say, well, they're shade, but you have them in full sun. Well, yes, because it's in the winter, and winter sun is much more forgiving and not as harsh as summer sun. So even if you have them under like deciduous trees and they get sun in the winter time, they will be fine because they will get shade in the summertime and can handle it really nicely. Another one that's a real favorite that we were growing is the Ivory Prince. Has really nice, the foliage on it is a little bit more, I don't say it's variegated, it's more veined, but you can see it has those creamy whites, those mauves, and a lot of times your Lenten roses, as they age and mature, they'll turn kind of a limey green. So really nice. So if you're looking for some Lenten roses, heaven knows we have got plenty of those for you. Peonies, we've got peonies, and we have weeds. Let me get those out for you. Sarah Bernhardt. We've got the Kansas Carl Rosenfield. We've got some Itos. We've got Kansas peony. Shirley Temple. I love Shirley Temple. It's a beautiful white. Here's the Ito, the Bartzala, which is a really fun yellow. Look at that. So the Bartzala is these Ito peonies are a cross between an herbaceous and a tree peony. So really neat and yellow. So we've got plenty of peonies for you. So let's come over here and let me show you a couple of the things that the girls brought down. This is where we were doing more construction. The fellas were working on this yesterday. We will have tables, we've had tables here and we will have tables again. That's what the girls were working on. The guys installed some irrigation right here. So just pardon the construction mess for right now. My shade people, okay? So if you have shade gardens, this is going to be a fantastic plant for you. Even my southern gardeners. This is Heaven Sent. And Heaven Sent is a perennial that is hardy in zones 3 to 7. Typically, because I'm in the south and I have lots of heat and humidity, I don't like getting perennials that only go to a zone 7 because I think they're not going to handle our heat and humidity. But we have such a great relationship with the folks at Walters Gardens. They send me new introductions every year before they are introduced. I tried this Heaven Sent and it did great for us. You have to put it in deep shade if you're a zone 7B like I am, deep shade, and supplement the water. If you're in a zone 3, you can do the full sun because on the tag it says full sun to part shade. So just keep in mind, the cooler your climate is, the more sun it can handle. The hotter and the more humid you are, you're probably gonna have more shade. But early spring bloomer, it reminds you almost of a fern. It'll get nice and big, like your mound just gets really big, true blue flowers on it. Gorgeous plant, and so it says the perfect companion for hostas. I love this, and you can just see, you know, when it's mixed in, like as a group, or when the plants are big, you can see what it's gonna look like. Great. The new Pinkaboo. So Brenna's just announcing everybody's arrival here. Pinkaboo, beautiful pulmonaria, another great shade plant. Now you're like, again, why do you have it in the sun if it's a shade plant? Winter sun. Once we get past like a month from now, all these have to be moved out into the pines. So the Pinkaboo, much more spotted, true pink flowers that will turn to blue. So on the same plant, you'll get a whole variety and shades of pinks and blues on the same plant. That's why it's called Pinkaboo. The Spot On is a little bit more of a salmon color. So just, you can easily have them both mixed into your gardens and they will do just gorgeous. But beautiful deer resistant plant, they're kind of fuzzy and furry and hairy. That's why the deer typically don't like to have them. Of course, we still have plenty of unique stone. We've got plenty of the Michael Carr pottery. So we have lots of options for you. Again, I could go through and just talk about plants. But the best thing for you to do is to come see us here at Creekside Nursery. Again, this weekend is our last Saturday only, and then starting next week, we will be open Wednesdays through Saturdays. So as always, we look forward to seeing you. We can't wait to see all your sweet faces. Thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. We appreciate all your love and support. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.